Welcome to Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives, with your host, Singh. This is where leadership meets purpose, presence, and passion. In today's fast-paced, high-pressure world, we face a leadership crisis. Too often, teams are led by managers who lack empathy, clarity, and vision, leaving individuals uninspired, disconnected, and undervalued. But it doesn't have to be this way. Great leadership isn't born, it's built. The end game: empower your leadership, inspire the world. Every week, join me, your host Singh, as we tackle the gaps in leadership and life coaching head on, learning how mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and compassion can redefine success. This isn't just another podcast, it's a mission to fill the void left by ineffective leadership. And it's not just about leadership in business. Life coaching for leaders and new executives is at heart of this journey. Ready to rise above the noise and lead with clarity, purpose, and impact? Join a global movement dedicated to reshaping the future of leadership, one mindful moment at a time. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Leadership Podcast on the Transformation Network, the podcast where we turn stress into strategy, overthinking into clarity, and overwhelm into momentum. I'm your host Singh, the leadership coach who knows that growth does not happen through burnout, it happens through alignment. So let's begin. What if the most important leadership skill of the next decade is not strategy? It is not AI influence, and it is not even communication, but the ability to stay calm while everything around you is on fire. My guest today is a board certified internal medicine physician who walked away from the standard model of medicine because he believes 80% of what walks into doctor's office is not a disease, it is a stress wearing a costume. Let that sit. He is known to the world as Dr. Calm. I'm Singh, and this is Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives. Today, I have a special guest, a good friend, Kiran, and I met a few weeks ago, and within 16 minutes realized we had been walking parallel paths for 20 years. Him from medicine into mindfulness, and for me, from technology into leadership presence. Today, we are going to converge those paths in public. So, with that, welcome, Dr. Kiran. How's the day going for you?
It's going very good. Thank you, Pankaj. It's great seeing you today. And as you said, we serendipitously met a few weeks ago, and such a pleasant surprise to find another soul with similar thought process and working on this.
So, I appreciate those kind words. Would you like?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, working on this. What we are working on, essentially elevating the consciousness of this planet, reducing the stress, improving the health, being more present, because that is what is going to be the determinant of true happiness and true success as the world is hurling itself forward at a rapid pace in this AI world.
Wow, wow, wow. So let's introduce you to my guest. So, how would you? I'm short of words. There's so many things to talk about. As Dr. Kam, your experience in medicine, how would you like to introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, sure. I came from very humble beginnings from India. I did my mid school there, born in a middle class family, and yearned to be a doctor. And I'm very happy that I'm able to do that. And I give lots of credit to my parents, especially to my mom, who was there day in, day out, helping me, supporting me, along with my dad and other family members. So I just want to say it out loud, my gratitude towards them. Now I came down to the United States as after I finished my med school. I did my master's in public health, and then I did my internal medicine residency, and then I did my integrative and holistic medicine diploma. And then I got into functional medicine. And throughout this time, all this time, I also parallelly running stress and resiliency, speaking, books, courses. I created all those things because more than, yeah, 18 years ago, when I was stressed, no one to help really. I had to figure out solutions myself. And then I found this calm in the midst of chaos at that time, and that changed my life completely. I said, wait, wait, wait. I'm not the only one who is stressed. Everyone is stressed around. So how can I help with what I learned? How can I help other people? So all of this journey brought together Dr. Calm into picture. A doctor, a philosopher, a health advocate for people, not just my patients, but for the society, bringing all this experience together.
Interesting. So you mentioned 18 years back. So I did a quite extensive research before I got on the call. So let's talk about that. What happened in 2007 that pulled the floor out under you?
Sure. So did your research find that the number is right, 18 years?
Yep, it is
2000.
there. 2007.
No, actually, no, we both are lying. It is now 19 years. It is 2026 now, right? So, um, yeah, at the time, I was doing my master's in public health. And while I was doing my master's, I was also preparing vigorously for the what I call as USMLE exams so that I can finish them and then I can interview and then I can do my internal medicine residency. I'm trying to get into a residency position here in a hospital. And so I got great scores and all of that. I did my interviews, and I still remember it, I think it's 2007, March, April, around the time. 10:30 a.m. or so. It's cold outside, snowing, and a very bad news struck me. Like I went into shock, like, what? And that news was that I did not get selected to do residency, internal medicine residency, which I dreamed of, all these years throughout my med school and after. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I was like, what? My scores are like 95 in step one, 99 in step two, and in step three is like high 90s. If all of that didn't get me in, what would get me in? So I was in so much distress. I don't want to go back to India as a failure. All my colleagues, my friends, they're all like, some kind of program or being successful. So I know what to do. My world suddenly fell apart. So much stress. And at that time, I started reading books. I started asking people, what do I do? No one knew the answer. And almost 2 months of that. Now my visa is almost about to expire in just another 1.5 months or so. Even if I somehow figured out to stay back, I didn't have the money to support myself. Even if I somehow get money that I needed, borrowed it, and then again applied for the position, it's going to take an year or more to do all the process, interviews, and there is no guarantee that I'm going to get selected. What if I get into a deeper debt?
Mm-hmm.
So should I go back? So that is the situation. Everything essentially working against me. My dreams shattered at the doorstep of failure. And at that time, I was so stressed. I was looking for how to calm down first, like I did not even know the word calm at that time, honestly speaking. So looking, and then on the intranet of the university, it was West Virginia University, Morgantown. Wonderful university. I met lots of great people there. And the intranet, I found this professor teaching something about stress, resilience. Yeah, this seems to be something related to me. I think that probably could help me. So I literally ran down to her office that afternoon. I still remember it was 2:50 p.m. And I knocked on the door, and the secretary came out, opened the door. Hey, what do you need? I want to meet the professor, and this is what is going on. What? Um, okay, please be seated. I'll get the professor. And the professor's name is Judith Sedgman. And then she came out and she spoke with me for a couple of minutes, and she said essentially, hey, calm down. Everything is going to be okay. And I was thinking in my head, like, how can I calm down? My world is falling apart. Um, and then she said, I got to go teach a class now. It's almost 3. And I was like so disappointed. Oh my God. I thought she could help me. She can sit down and, share something. And she said, here is some reading material. Here's an audio CD. And then we'll talk later. And I had no choice. I had to drag myself back again to the dorm heavily. With a heavy feeling in my heart. I went back, sat in my room, and then opened the material. I couldn't really focus at the time. Like my mind was so distracted, restless. Okay, I'm going to listen to this audio. So I borrowed his headphones from my friend, put them on. And as I was listening, somewhere down the lane, like 5 minutes, I started feeling peaceful. What? Oh, good. Let me continue. And a few minutes later, I started feeling joyful. How is that possible? Was the first thought that came to my mind. None of the circumstances around me changed. Same problems. And I'm feeling peaceful, joyful. It's like someone vacuumed out all the negative thoughts from my mind. It's like a Ferrari that is running at a million miles per second and came to a sudden halt. But the next thought was, am I going crazy? How is it someone can feel happy under these circumstances? With that thought, I put down the headphones and literally ran to the phone and called my professor. And luckily, I think she was done by the time teaching her class. And she picked up the phone. And I quickly said, this is what is going on. Like, am I going crazy? Like, is something wrong with me? And she said, like, no, you're fine. You just accessed your innate health, your natural state of peace and joy within. Enjoy it. And it was like big relief for me. For the next couple of weeks, I was the happiest man on the earth, even though surrounded by all these problems. And at the same time, almost, one of my friends then gave me a meditation technique. It's like a small booklet, meditation technique. And I said, I'm going to do anything. It doesn't matter. And you just give it to me. So, and then I remember it was like 8 p.m. at night. I came home and then immediately read the instructions sat there on the floor, cross-legged, and tried to do it. That was the first time ever that I did meditation. But within 5 to 10 minutes, I felt such a deep calm. Now I'm saying deep calm, but at the time I had even no clue how to describe it. If I remember well, at the time I just simply felt like relieved, something better, something good. That's the feeling. Oh, good. Okay, I can do more of this. Now, the thing is, not only that I felt calm, peaceful during that time, as I continued to practice this over the next 2 months, so many miracles happened, so many miracles happened. And I got into my internal medicine residency within 2 months. And everyone was like, how did you do it? Like, I don't know. I just did it. And no one could believe it because normally it would take at least another year to go through the application cycle, processing and all of that. And of course, not that I didn't work hard. I was working hard. I was determined to make it happen. But I found, as I reflected back, that calmness is the greatest catalyst for success and happiness in your life. Somehow, things change when you're operating from a calm state of mind. And that is what I did at that time. So that's a very long story. I mean, it's not even that long because if I really tell you the story, I could write a book just on this story, how many miracles happen and one event after one event another, chance happenings and this and that normally wouldn't be possible.
So we
But
might
I'll
actually
pause here.
do a we might actually do a co-authoring on that as a episode. So a few things I picked up for my audience, and I always get laugh on this when I get a response. So guys, you see, we are talking about 2007. He mentioned a few words. I just want you guys to think about it. He mentioned getting an audio CD. Do you even know what audio CD is in today's day and age? It does not exist, right? But back in the day, I'm with him. We used to collect audio CDs, reprint our audio CDs to listen all the time. Um, the second thing he also mentioned is he ran to the phone. Phone was not as available as we have in our hands today. You had to actually
Yeah.
put effort to get in contact with someone. I mean, that shows a seriousness of somebody trying to get out of the bed in that moment and trying to get with someone. Now, the third thing, very critical that he mentioned in this, right? Innate health, connection to your superior conscious. And the calmness that he's talking about is what we have been considering as presence, being present for yourself, outside of yourself, not judging, just looking at and aiming. So, uh, before we get into the thesis and everything else, one quick question for you. And this is just my curiosity. Most physicians who go through a personal crisis, right? They quietly recover and go back to seeing 30 patients a day, 40 patients a day. The reason I'm bringing in, I have very close friends, a few of them in this line of business who actually ended up suiciding immediately after COVID. And I have a few other physicians who
Yeah.
are in my program and they keep going on. So you built a movement. So when did you realize that this was not a personal recovery, it was a solution for masses?
Yeah, that's a powerful question. And thanks for really gleaning that from what I said. So at that time, all I was thinking was literally, saving my life, saving my career, right? And once that happened, like these series of events, like, oh, wow, okay, wow. And then I started reflecting back. And then I got into my residency. As I was moving forward, I was in very high stress circumstances because most residents, they get, like a 2 to 3 weeks of orientation before before they jump into the residency. So they kind of understand the system a little bit. They know what to do. Like I jumped right into it, no orientation, nothing, because this all happened last minute. And so I was thrown into this almost the ocean of suffering because residency programs are very tough. And I was actually doing it in New York City, where it's like, oh God, like patient volume and so many other things that are like very hectic. So I was thrown into it, and from this happy state back into hell, probably the right way to describe it. I didn't know that I was getting into that hell, you know. Only like a few weeks later, I realized it. But what protected me from all that stress and suffering was my continued practice. You know, by this time, I figured out the power of calmness already. And so every day I was meditating, and every day I was putting into that state of calm. So now here is the thing. Second month of residency, I was put on a floor with very sick patients. And they're on ventilators. It's not ICU, it is a step down to ICU, but lots of patients on the floor and ventilators, sick, coughing, this, that, and all of that. And I went in knowing nothing and learning. And one day, my professor, the medical medicine professor who was teaching, he's a lung doctor. He asked me, what do you do? I said, what do you mean? No, what do you do to be like so calm? Like, why do you say that? Look, this is all crazy stuff going on, but somehow you are very centered and present, even though you don't know anything about how to treat these people. And then that was a testament to what I was doing, how these principles and techniques now I teach, how powerful they are. And I told him, hey, this is what I do, that. So, and these kind of things kept happening over the next few years. Like, wow, there's something here. Like everyone is burning out, everyone is stressed out, and somehow I am like passing through this battlefield in a bulletproof car where the nails and bullets of stressors cannot penetrate my calm shield around me. So that is the picture, that came to my mind. And then I realized, wow, I think I stumbled onto something powerful. And mine was a sporadic experience. Many people listen to the CDs and, read this and that. It doesn't happen to them. Mine was a very sporadic experience. And that professor taught so many people, and I'm sure they all benefited. But something happened to me that the universe gave it to me. That is how I perceive it. And I think I got to use it to help others. So then I studied very deeply this subject, actually. I studied under the professor, and then I was also studying much more different stuff, actually. I made it really my mission. And then what was a sporadic experience for me? How can I make it a systematic, replicable experience for anyone and everyone who are willing to learn, who are open-minded? So I created a system. So that happened like around in 2011, 2012.
Awesome. That is a beautiful thing. It's what you're doing right now, and I coach and teach on this. At some point, you realize what is the purpose of your life, and the way we define purpose is what is the best of what you have that you can give to others, right? What is the best of what you
Yeah.
have to give to others? Now, as we are looking at this, and especially when you sit down with a white coat and you have all those credentials and everything else, I'm sure you have gone through skeptics, you have gone through people who wants to get your data to validate this, that, everything else. So let's get to the calm that anchors your entire body of work. Mostly, there are a few other things on the sides, but mostly it's that, right? And I correct me if I'm wrong, you have mentioned a few different places of thing. Stress is the root of roughly 80% of chronic disease. So
Oh yeah.
if I'm wrong, please correct me. But
Wrong.
walk me through how you arrived at that number and what you say to an skeptical internist sitting across from you who wants to see the data.
Oh yeah. That's a great question again. There's so much data now. So back in 2010, when I just finished my residency and I was doing a job, my first job, very shortly, within a few months, I realized that, oh God, number one, all this residency, I learned a lot, and I consider myself a very good doctor, regarded not only by myself, but other people around me. So, but all of that is not enough. That is what I realized very early on. I was
Mhm.
practicing because there's so much chronic disease that the modern medicine doesn't have solution, right? We fix things very well, very good at acute care, but after that, I don't know. So that is when I also stumbled into integrative and holistic medicine and started developing a liking for it. I went to conference and, oh wow, okay, this is amazing. So I need to integrate that into what I already learned. So I did that. And around the same time, I also noticed like everyone is stressed and burnt out around me.
Mhm.
And they don't have a solution. At that time, mindfulness is not really a big thing either. It was just coming up. And
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily into mindfulness movement per se. That is not my training of my learning and understanding is coming from a different space, different place. But these are all interrelated. Okay. But the point that I'm trying to say is at that time, there was no Calm app, there is no Headspace. Not many people were even talking about it. Simone Biles didn't have her mental breakdown and withdrew from the.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 14, 15 years ago. But at that time, I said stress is a big problem. And I started looking at the data. You have heart attacks, you have something called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy or stress cardiomyopathy, right? And so a bunch of other things, which I discovered during my research and studying about this, right? But even then, the data was not as robust. Interestingly, I was just actually talking at a conference like 4 days ago, and I was presenting this. And as I was presenting, I also pulled in a lot of data, scientific articles. There is so much now. Stress is linked to Alzheimer's. 2024 study. If you're
Mhm.
stressed, anxious, worried constantly, your risk for Alzheimer's goes up. And when you stop stressing, the risk goes down. When you're stressed consistently, there is a Harvard study in 2017 published in Lancet journal, which showed that when you're stressed, your heart attack risk goes up significantly, even though you don't have any other problems. Stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes, autoimmune diseases. Like there is so much data now, rock solid data now, that was not there 15, 20 years ago. They were always like, yeah, this link is there. Yes, good. But, is it enough? But now, yeah, there is no doubt about it now. There's no doubt about it.
So
Stress.
in 2010 I was diagnosed with stress caused cardiomyopathies. I guess what you say, it's a stroke like symptom
Wow.
that yeah, you don't have anything, it's just stress that causes everything going on with you. So sorry, I didn't want to interject, but I wanted to actually get to something very important there. You have named the underlying system the stress mastery program. I wanted to get that captured here. I didn't want to lose track of that. So
Yeah.
in plain English, what is it doing that a prescription pad is not?
Yeah. So that question is a very good follow-up question to what we were discussing, because stress, like all the data is showing, is the foundation for almost every single disease. I mean, 80% or probably more. I call it in my own words. Stress has its fingerprints on every single organ system in your body.
Hmm?
You know, psychoneuroimmunology, if you read the literature, it clearly shows that. Right now, the question is, can you repeat the question?
So, in plain English, what is
Yeah.
the underlying system, the stress master program? What is that doing that a prescription does not?
Cannot do. Yeah. Right. Now, a prescription often puts a band-aid on your problem. I'm talking about chronic problems. Acute problems, like if you have a pneumonia infection, you give a prescription antibiotic, and then people get better in 1 week and they're done, right? Or if you have some kind of accident, you got to take care of, maybe the surgery is needed, that's done. So those are all acute issues, right? Now, for most of the chronic problems, the prescriptions are simply putting a band-aid. They're not really resolving the root cause. And one of the major root causes is this chronic stress. We live in a world where this chronic psychological stress is constantly going on in your mind. Your cortisol levels are up, your norepinephrine levels are up, and that leads to a plethora of changes within your body, in your brain, in your gut, because stress is linked to gut microbiome issues, gut dysbiosis. Stress is linked to, like I said, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, heart issues, like I said, all those things, right? Autoimmune diseases. That is the reason I call stress is a silent killer. While you're using all these prescriptions, getting all these procedures, even peptides, stem cells, that will only help you to a certain extent. Unless you address the root cause of stress in your life, go there, resolve it, find deep calm within, you will not resolve your medical problems, your relationship problems, your financial problems, and whatnot. It is linked to everything. So the stress mastery course is really about getting to that root cause. What is the true source of stress in your life? Do you know? You know that you are stressed. Most people know. But what is the true source? Most people don't know that. 99% of people don't know that. I help them unravel it, uncover it, because you cannot win over an enemy that you can't see.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Stress often, what I say is, conducts a guerrilla warfare strategy. It hides behind, you can't see it, and it's attacking you. And you have all these bad outcomes, whether it's medically or relationship or financial, whatever it is, right? So you got to get stress out of hiding, dismantle it. Not simply management. I don't like management. Dismantle it systematically. That's what you got to do.
And I think that's where you and I kind of connected very well last time when we had a conversation a few weeks back, because when we talk about uh, being present in what you're doing, the I don't get too technical till people take the program, but the word that we use is chitta shuddhi, right? Chitta, which literally translates into purification of mind or cleansing your consciousness. Why? Because to your point, what you just made, right? You cannot defeat the enemy that you can understand and know.
Mhm.
And something that is happening within you, nothing external can kind of help you. It is an internal
Right.
mobility of practices and habits that you have to put forward. So you make a distinction just now you made, and I want my listeners to hear this clearly. You said between managing stress and dissolving it. That's a big part.
Right.
this conversation,
Yeah.
right? So, what
Right.
is it different, and why does it matter for someone who is running a company, a senior executive, head of a department? I mean, why is that so important for them to distinction between managing stress and dissolving it?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me first give an example, the difference actually between managing and dissolving. So managing is like you go to social media and all these things, you say, 3 tips that you can do now to quickly, de-stress. You're just managing. 3 tips, 5 tips, 7 tips is a band-aid. All right, there's nothing wrong. It is okay. Sometimes we need a band-aid. Nothing wrong with it. But if you just put a band-aid and forget about it, stress is going to grow like cancer within, eating you up from inside. And then all of a sudden, you have this big heart attack, or, $1 million divorce, or something else, a bad financial decision, or you get into an accident. Because when you're stressed, restless, and distracted, that is when accidents happen. Or people can get into deep depression, suicide, addictions. We have all seen all these things, right? That is the reason that CEO, that executive has to work on the root cause healing of the stress, right? There is so much at stake. Their entire life is at stake. And one of the most important things, especially from a CEO perspective, from an executive perspective, from an entrepreneur perspective, whatever decisions that you're making is not only affecting you, but is affecting the
Beautiful.
entire organization.
And the
If
society,
you are
because every individual is connected to society. It's also the society. Go ahead. Sorry.
to the society, if you are in a stressed, restless state of mind consistently, especially, the way that you perceive your employees and the way you're reacting to them, it's going to be different than when you are in a calm state of mind. You may actually become defensive. Any feedback that is coming at you, you may be looking at from a very egoistic point of view. That is what happens when you're stressed and restless. It's not that you're a bad person. You're just like your reflexes are like hyper, and then you just want to react. And that is the state that
Exactly.
you are in.
Exactly. You are bringing out some very specific word. People are reacting, not responding.
Yeah,
People are reacting because they are just in that flow to do that and get over with it, rather than step
right.
back, get calm, and make decision. So you feel responsible to be able to make those decisions. Welcome back after a short break. So here we are not losing you. We are not going away. We are just parting ways because there's so much intel that Dr. Kam has to share with us and help your life. It's unbelievable. So, for end of this episode, let me start with my 5 round questions. Quick 5 questions, a few words or a sentence. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Fire up.
Awesome. So, stress in one word.
Silent killer. Although
Calmness.
2 words, but
It works. One of your words. Calmness in one word.
your only savior. Or, I would say, catalyst for success and happiness.
First habit that you will kill in every CEO and every CXO.
First habit that kills every CEO and CFO.
The first habit that you would kill in every CEO and CXO.
The first habit that I would kill in every CEO and CFO. Okay,
CXO.
well, this is not a rapid fire thing, but
Keep going.
all right. So the first habit that I would kill in every CEO, CFO is self sabotage.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. A phrase, that's not one word, a phrase, you would retire from medicine.
Hmm. A phrase that I would retire from medicine.
What would it be? Why would it be? How would it be?
Uh, okay. Okay, this is what I would retire in medicine.
It can be as simple.
Pills.
It can be as simple
Yeah.
as, I don't see myself retiring.
No, yeah. Yeah. This is what I would retire for sure in medicine. Pills for stress, anxiety, worries, because they cause so many side effects. There are better ways.
Beautiful. Your morning sentence, the first thing you say to yourself.
The first thing that I would say to myself every day,
Mhm.
calmness first.
Awesome. Kiran, this is exactly the conversation I wanted to have. I knew it from that conversation we had briefly. And for my listeners, Dr. Kiran practices Dr. Kam's clinic in La Jolla.
La Jolla in San Diego.
Yeah, thank you. His book,
I said
Calm
La Jolla.
in the. Okay, thank you for correcting me. His book, Calm in Midst of Chaos, Stress-Free Revolution, are on Amazon, and you can find him at drcalm.world and on LinkedIn as Dr. Kiran Dintyala, aka Dr. Calm. If anything is said landed for you today, do me a favor. Don't just save the episode. Send it to one person on your team who needs to hear that. That is how a movement is sustained. My friends, you have been listening to Mindful Leadership Podcast with Singh on Transformation Network. Subscribe, leave a review, share the love. See you next time. And yes, please don't forget to ping me as you do always, because I know you will have questions, we will have answers, and we will have a few more episodes with Dr. Khan. So thank you so much for today's episode. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives. With me, your host, Singh. We are honored to have you join us on this journey to explore the transformative power of mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and authentic leadership. Tune in every week on transformationtalkradio.com at noon Pacific on Tuesdays, where we will continue to explore how mindful leadership can create a ripple effect of positive changes in your life and lives of those you influence. This show is dedicated to helping you lead with purpose, presence, and passion. Whether you're navigating the complexities of business, building stronger connection with your team, or striving to make a meaningful impact in the world around you. To learn more about the show, access additional resources, or dive deeper, visit singpowerupcoach.com. Remember, leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Let's continue to transform lives together, one mindful moment at a time. See you next week.